Years ago, in a previous congregation, we had just a delightful children's choir director and a delightful youth choir director. And as long as they were separate doing their work, everything was beautiful. But when they got together, just something in that chemistry did not work. And it was friction, and it was challenge, and in the staff meeting, they were turning away and trying to come to me and asking me to tell the other one, and you tell the other one, and somehow it didn't work out. So what I thought of, the only way to settle and deal with this is, let's all sit together and settle it, clarify. Well, as we worked toward it, and the closer it came, the more I sensed in myself the anxiety rising. How am I gonna fix this? How is this gonna work? What is gonna happen if that blows up right in that meeting, right into my face? If it explodes right there, what do I do with the mess? Somehow, in some way, and I think the Spirit of God had something to do with this, we gathered in the meeting, and the first question I asked was, what do you appreciate about the other person? And what do you appreciate about the children's choir director? And you could feel the tension just subsiding. You could feel it almost like, oh, so this is not about pointing fingers, this is not about criticizing, this is not about fighting, this is first about looking for the positive, looking for the unique, special gift for the other person in the room. Amazing what a difference that made. How to make relationships work. How to improve relationships. One point, look for the positive. Look for the face of God in the other person. I'm going to this continuing education in Philadelphia, and it's a seminar, and we have a brilliant lady there who presents. And when I say brilliant, she just got it. She has it together. At the same time, she's always open and asks questions and draws the others in. And I asked her, why are you doing that? What is going on here? And she says, everyone knows something I do not know. Inviting others in, looking for the positive, what someone else can contribute, someone else knows, what someone else can add to a conversation to explore, that is one of the bedrocks, and I think that is one of the points that Jesus invites us to do when he says, love one another and love yourself and love God. Inviting us to look for the gift, the treasure. An Eastern tradition sees this, you may have heard this, the namaste. So look for the face of God, look for the God part in the other person. Look for the gift, the treasure someone else brings to the table, to the relationships. And if you start positive, the chances that you'll have a good and healthy relationship and work out are way, way bigger. Many, many years back in seminary, we had a colleague, and I call him Hans. And Hans was this tall guy. He was very quiet. very introverted. And we asked in a group of colleagues and of students, we asked Hans questions. Well, Hans, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And have you done this? And have you done that? And it was like adding questions and poking and prodding. And this quiet Hans, at some point, he exploded. And it hit the fan, and he was just wild and furious. And all of this frustration, all of the hurt, whatever was there, just was all over the room and in each one of our faces. Well, what would have helped in that situation? If you listen to understand, if you listen with the heart, if you listen for an opportunity to hear what the other person has to say or what they have not said yet. Generally, when there is some tension, you do not want to be that person that takes the last straw and puts it on the camel's back. You do not want to be the one when the pressure cooker is really high to turn up the heat. Why would you? No one really wants that. And when you listen deeply, when you listen with heart, when you want to understand and ask, tell me more about that. Help me understand. I really want to hear you. What's going on? Help me understand. If we listen in order to understand, something beautiful happened. That pressure that may be there, that frustration, that tension, it gives it a break. Let's breathe throughly. You matter. You matter to me. I want to hear. I want to know what's going on. When Jesus says, love not just your neighbors. We're used to hear this. Love God, love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus goes the extra step. And right here in our passage of Matthew, from Matthew we heard, it doesn't just matter whether you murder something. That is illegal, that's against the law, so you'll be in big trouble if you murder someone. And the Ten Commandments, way back to Moses, it's clear as day. Don't murder, don't kill, don't hurt anyone. Jesus says it's not just the hurt, the actual punch. He says, when you think of someone else, you idiot, you fool, you're crazy, you're just lost, you're just out there. That's when you missed already something. What is that? It is, to me, what really matters, what an ancient wisdom, Philo of Alexandria already said, be kind, for everyone fights a big battle. Each and every one of us, we have something going on. We do not know the people whom we encounter, from where they're coming, what their experiences are, what they worry about, what's on their mind, what worries them, what is on their heart. We have no idea. So to be kind, isn't that a phenomenal campaign of United Way? Be kind. Be kind. It doesn't take a lot to be kind. Be kind in spirit, be generous, be open, be smiling. Just, you don't lose by doing that. Just be kind. Years ago, way back in Virginia, my wife and I, we had some frictions in our relationship. And often when I talk with people who look back over the years, over their 50 years of marriage or 40 years or so on, they always say we have had some bumps on the ride. We had some bumps. Well, we hit some of those bumps back then. So we went to counseling and looked for someone to help us through those. One of the insights from that time for me was very deep and very thoughtful, that you're always to look for a win-win. Relationships are never zero-sum game. It's not like you win, the other one loses, or the other one wins, you lose. That's happening in basketball games, in football games, that may happen in elections and so on. There are areas in our lives where win-lose applies. It does not apply to relationships. If you help someone win, your relationship wins. You're together in it. I think the most beautiful symbol, whenever I have a wedding here in the sanctuary, the couple, they come together, and we have this ceremony, we call it the unity candle, lighting the unity candle. We have 2 individual candles. And when the partners light the unity candle, they have the option to blow out their individual candles. I always encourage them, let them burn. Because you as yourself, your individuality, your character, you as a person, you matter. Same, the partner matters. And the third, your relationship matters too. How do you make that work? Well, if you look for win-win, this is what it looks like. When both in the relationships matter. There are different types, different people, different folks, different strokes. Some are more my way or the highway. You call them the aggressive, the bully, the in-charge ones. They're the other ones who, I don't care, your way, just doormat people. I don't count, let's do it always your way. Well, I think a little bit of both really matters. I count in the relationship, and you count in the relationship. So what do I want? What do I think about? What do I bring to the table? And what is it you want? What is important to you? What do you bring to the table as a gift? And then the conversation ensues, and you end up with win-win, and the relationship works when you look at what matters to the individual people. Finally, and I'm going to Ed Barban. Ed Barban, a dear, dear, special, long-term member here at St. Paul's for many, many years. Ed had this saying that there is so much good in the worst of us, and so much bad in the best of us, that it doesn't behoove to any one of us to judge the rest of us. It's a mix, my friend. It's never black and white when it comes to relationship. It's not. So what it really takes is to let go, to forgive, to do it again, and start over again, and to forgive, and do it over and over again. The people of God, they had been in Egypt They have been in slavery. Moses liberated them on behalf of God. He carried them out of slavery, and right there, they're in front of the promised land where milk and honey would flow. And Moses sets them right there and says, now, you listen. Before you get into the promised land, listen. And Moses tells them, yours is the choice. You can choose life, or you can choose death. Life is if you live in a loving, in a fulfilling relationship with God. Death is if you cut yourself off and go your own way. What will you choose? What will you choose? Look for the positive. Listen to understand. Be kind. Look for win-win. And some things you just let go. It's like know when to hold them, when to fold them, and when to walk away. Some things are just not in your hands. So, what is that one thing you will do to improve one of your relationships? And if you don't have any one of your relationships that need any or whatsoever improvement, think of who is that one person whom you want to thank that they're part of your life? Whom do you want to thank that they're part of your life?